what would be your advice to bringing back the old Wilder?
It's very hard to say because Wilder's already beyond 35 years old. Once a guy gets to beyond 35 years old, it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. He'd have to almost recalibrate his whole situation, his whole game, and I don't know if he's willing to go that deep into it.
The boxing world finds itself in the midst of a heated debate as prominent figures from across the sport weigh in on whether Deontay Wilder still possesses the necessary tools to compete at the elite level, particularly with Alexander Usyk reportedly eyeing the former champion as his next opponent.
Usyk gave up the belt because there's no money in it, fighting the opponent they wanted him to fight. Now he's fighting Wilder. Wilder's still one of the biggest names out there that he hasn't boxed and probably create the most finance, the most money. Usyk's proved everything he's proved now.
The proposed matchup between Usyk and Wilder has emerged as one of the most controversial talking points in recent heavyweight boxing discussions. Usyk, currently holding the WBC, WBA, and IBF titles after becoming undisputed champion for the second time in his career, shocked many when he expressed interest in facing the American knockout artist. This came after the Ukrainian demolished Daniel Dubois in 5 rounds at Wembley Stadium back in July, showcasing heavyweight stopping power that many believed he lacked when he first moved up from cruiserweight. The fight appears to be moving toward reality, with Usyk's manager Egis Klimas indicating that negotiations are underway for a potential April or May showdown. The manager has revealed ambitious plans to secure a multi-fight deal that would include the Wilder confrontation taking place on American soil with a US-based promoter handling the event. This strategic move would allow Usyk to achieve his stated goal of competing 2 or 3 more times before retirement, while simultaneously establishing his presence in the lucrative American boxing market.
Look, I think that Alexander Usyk has achieved everything you can achieve in boxing. You know, 2-time undisputed world heavyweight champion, undisputed cruiserweight champion. And he's thinking now in years to come when people look back on this modern era, and he has to box Deontay Wilder, who you know, has played a massive part in this era of boxing. And victory over Deontay Wilder would have cleaned up this era. So I totally understand him.
He's a bit of a unicorn, is Alexander Usyk in the heavyweight division, and that's kind of how I'm treating him now. He's given me everything that I wanted from him. He gave me 2 against Joshua, he gave me 2 against Fury, he gave me 2 against Dubois, and he delivered.
Wilder assertion is not in keeping with what Alexander Usyk represents. He gives fighters the best fights, he takes the best fights, he gets paid well for them because he's worth it, but this feels like I'm collecting a name for a distant time and maybe a check rather than collecting a legacy by beating all that's best around me and then leaving before maybe Moses Atoma arrives in serious nick.
I think it is off kilter from what we've experienced with Alexander Usyk in the past. But I think he's kind of earned that right.
John Fury, who cornered his son for the first Usyk fight and witnessed all 5 encounters between Tyson and the 2 proposed opponents, has expressed grave concerns about Wilder's condition. Speaking to pro boxing fans, the elder Fury painted a troubling picture of the Bronze Bomber's current state, suggesting the fighter has deteriorated significantly and questioning why the top-ranked heavyweight in the world would pursue such a matchup. He went as far as warning that someone could inflict Wilder given his diminished condition, calling the situation terrible and suggesting the American should be left out of these high-stakes fights altogether.
Well, you know, he's not the same man, is he? He's not got a leg under him, God love him. You know, he's shot one, he's shot to pieces. What does a man like Usyk want to do that for? It's a liberty. It's a liberty. You know, just... You're the #1 heavyweight in the world. There's plenty of other people deserve and have a chance to fight than Deontay Wilder. Leave Wilder out of it. Somebody in a minute's going to cause Deontay Wilder some serious injury. And going back to the AJ car crash, this can be just as dangerous and just as bad for Deontay Wilder. But it's camouflage better, isn't it? Just as dangerous. Somebody could kill Wilder. You know, it's terrible.
These harsh assessments stem from Wilder's recent performances, which have done little to inspire confidence. His decision loss to Joseph Parker showed a fighter who struggled to impose his will, while his subsequent 5th-round stoppage defeat at the hands of Zhilei Zhang was particularly brutal and raised red flags about whether his chin and durability remain intact. Even his most recent victory, a 7th-round stoppage of Tyrrell Herndon in June of last year, failed to generate much excitement or prove he had regained his previous form. The fights against Parker and Zhang especially revealed a version of Wilder who posed minimal threat and appeared hesitant to unleash the devastating right hand that built his fearsome reputation.
Deontay Wilder recently said that he's feeling great and that he's in his prime, or something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing. He's clearly not in his prime. There's clearly a bit of delusion there. Obviously, Alexander Usyk's pushing for this fight. He wants it to happen. I spoke to Usyk. I don't know if this was on camera or not, but we were ringside for the Inoue fight. And Usyk was like, yeah, he wants Wilder. He wants the fight to be either in Miami or Vegas. So Usyk's pushing for this fight. And if you're Wilder, you're like, jackpot. Like, you're jackpot. You're thinking, oh my God, Usyk wants to fight me? Considering the last 3-4 years, I've done very little, if not anything. So, we'll see. We'll see how this fight plays out.
Despite these concerns, not everyone is ready to write off the 40-year-old American completely. Roy Jones Jr. offered a more nuanced perspective when analyzing the potential bout, attempting to decode Usyk's motivations while acknowledging the inherent danger Wilder still presents. Jones suggested that Usyk recognizes Wilder is beginning to decline, but also understands the value of adding another prominent name to his legacy. Fighters with legitimate knockout power can land their decisive blow at any moment, regardless of age or recent form.
If Wilder can hit you, Wilder can put you out.
Talking of Usyk, he wants Deontay Wilder. Why do you think he wants Deontay?
Well, he knows Deontay is a great puncher, but he knows Deontay is starting to fall off a little bit. He's fallen a lot from where he was. He trained with Russ Amber a lot. You know, Russ used to be with Deontay, and Russ and Deontay had a few issues too, so I'm sure he wants to go pound Deontay out for that.
He's beat Fury twice, he's beat Anthony Joshua twice, Daniel Dubois twice. He wants to be that guy of the modern generation. Whether people think he's finished or not finished, the bottom line is he's still a prominent figure in the heavyweight division.
He's still the brown bomber, and you need that brown bomber. It's like I tell people, when you think about the past in boxing, the past is built basically on mostly black fighters. Most of the great fighters were black. How many great black fighters did Floyd Mayweather fight in their prime? None. He wanted to be a guy that fought everybody that he could.
Tony Bellew, who actually faced Usyk himself in the past, echoed similar sentiments when discussing the matchup. The former cruiserweight champion acknowledged that Wilder might be gun-shy and possibly past his prime, but stressed that the last attribute a puncher loses is their power. Bellew declared his genuine belief that Wilder remains the biggest single puncher in boxing, possessing more raw power in one shot than anyone else in the sport. This makes the fight risky for Usyk, despite offering minimal reward from a competitive standpoint. Wilder's record supports this assessment, with 43 knockouts from 44 victories, distance before losing. Bermain Stavern getting stopped in their rematch.
Usyk said he wants to fight Wilder. Any interest?
Ooh, that's an interesting
Usyk Wilder. Is Wilder about fucked though? He's about finished? Because he's looked shady, hasn't he, against Zhang?
Listen, I do think he's gun shy. I think he might be shot.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. There's no point in saying he's not.
Wilder.
But the last thing you're ever going to lose is that punch. But I do think he's gun shy. I do think he's wary of throwing. Yeah. And I think...
Do you think it could be interesting, Wilder landed a shot on Usyk? Yeah. Do you think?
Because you listen, no matter what, Deontay Wilder is still the single biggest puncher in boxing. Yeah. Even if he's a bit gun shy, even if he's a bit shot, with one shot, he's got more power than anyone else in the world. Yeah. And I genuinely believe that. So
and that
that's
could be
a risky one.
Lose, yeah.
And listen, let's be honest, risk against reward, he's getting no reward literally for that.
Lennox Lewis, the last undisputed heavyweight champion before Usyk achieved the feat, delivered his verdict with considerably more confidence in the Ukrainian's superiority. Speaking to pro boxing fans, Lewis stated that Usyk is far too skilled to lose the fight and predicted an easy night for the champion. The British legend believes everyone wants to see the matchup, but feels Usyk would win comfortably, hands down. Lewis achieved undisputed status himself, given his understanding of what it takes to reach and maintain that elite level.
I think Usyk is way too great to lose that fight. I think it's going to be an easy fight for Usyk. I think both of them fighting, you know, everybody wants to see that fight. I think Usyk has it hands down.
Meanwhile, Tyson Fury himself has weighed in on the situation, though from a different angle. The Gypsy King, who faced both fighters with dramatically different outcomes, losing twice on points to Usyk in 2024 while defeating Wilder 3 times. Fury explained that he doesn't believe Usyk will fight any of the mandatory challengers in the WBC ranking because there's no commercial sense or significant money in those matchups. After earning substantial purses, the Ukrainian is unlikely to accept dramatically reduced paydays against lesser-known opponents. This explains why Usyk is targeting Wilder or someone else with a popular name and established following.
But if I could, but I can't. I don't see that fight ever happening with Usyk and Cabello. It doesn't make any commercial sense. It's like saying to me, do you want to go and fight the man downstairs for 50 quid? Or do you want to fight Anthony Joshua for 20 million? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. And boxing's a business, don't forget. And we're all here to get paid and get laid and get out of here. Yeah. And that's what it's about. Winning a world title is fantastic, and you got to win world titles to get paid. But at that sort of level where Usyk is now, you want the biggest fights possible for the largest amounts of money. You want to get that bag and get out of there. You don't want to fight the toughest fights possible for no money, do you? Agid's a tough fight for anybody, and at the minute it doesn't make any commercial sense for Usyk to fight Agid or any of them people in WBC top 10, because none of them are massive names yet.
Usyk he'll eat all his boys out.
How do you think Caballero gets on against Fabio Wardley and Usyk?
Usyk will eat his boys up.
Eat them out.
I'm telling you, man.
Eat them up. What about Wardley, Caballero?
Caballero, that's a good one, because they both like to stand there. But Caballero will win it, and I'll tell you why. He's a body head, and Fabio is only a head hunter.
Would we be fair to say that Fabio would be the front runner for you, being your 50th fight and a world title?
We don't know, man. We're just waiting for Crimsbury to come with a better offer right now.
When you say better offer, there has been an offer made for that fight, then, yeah.
No.
However, with Usyk pursuing the Wilder fight and being granted permission for the voluntary defense, Caballero faces the frustrating prospect of making another interim title defense, stating they're ready for Usyk wherever he might be. Zab Judah offered a contrasting view, suggesting that dismissing Wilder would be premature despite his obvious challenges. Judah emphasized that the Bronze Bomber needs to approach his training with complete dedication, specifically highlighting the importance of not neglecting legwork and ensuring every aspect of his conditioning reaches peak level.
Wilder better go get that. Wilder better go get that. Wilder better go get that.
Call them out, Sue.
He gotta.
That's another opportunity.
But for real, Deontay gotta train. He gotta train for that, my nigga. Train for that. And don't skip leg day. No skipping leg day. Gotta hit leg day, all that, everything. Cause if he, I believe this, man. If Deontay Wilder go in there and get right, he can make that fight a more competitive, interesting fight than a lot of people expected. Trust me. Wilder still got something in there. He still could crack. See, remember, as long as you got that fucking right hand, that's the last thing to go. The last thing to go.
Meanwhile, Dave Allen, who has trained alongside Usyk and experienced his abilities through sparring sessions, explained why the fight makes strategic sense for the champion despite criticism. Allen observed that defeating Wilder would essentially allow Usyk to complete his collection of victories over every major name in modern heavyweight boxing, providing closure to his dominant run through the division.
We had Deontay Wilder on earlier talking about the fight with Alexander Usyk. You can tell he wants it. This fight's not made at the moment. What do you make of it?
It's funny because 8 weeks ago, all the talk on the internet was Deontay Wilder against Dave Allen. So now he's on about fighting Alexander Usyk. So it's funny how things work out in it. So I don't think he's the most deserving heavyweight at the minute in the world. Wardley.
He deserved you though, you're saying?
I don't deserve him.
But can you understand, Dave? I think because I just was having a good chat with him off air there, and we were talking about fights, and he said actually the fight was presented to me like Usyk because they all wanted to box the best boxing, the best. And Usyk feels that Deontay Wilder is that name that should be on the record. And you go like, Wilder sort of earned his stripes as well, and you go, yeah, he's looked terrible in recent performances, which I said to him, and he said, and he understands that. He said, look, people, of course, they're going to judge me on that, because on the surface of it all, forget what the problems I had, which I don't want to talk about, because that's all where. He said, I'll have to prove myself in the ring, but on the surface of it all, you know, I get that opportunity again, and you can understand that, can't you? Because it would have been a massive fight.
Yeah, I don't begrudge Alexander Usyk having a voluntary. He's fought everyone and beat everyone, so he deserves a voluntary. Deontay Wilder, I think beating Wilder would complete the set. The set for me, Joshua Fury Wilder, the best of the heavyweights of this generation before Usyk came along and just tore it all apart. So I think commercially it's probably the biggest fight for Usyk at the minute. In terms of a challenge, Wilder's still probably the biggest punching heavyweight in the world, but on recent performances, yeah, it's one of them where you're a bit like, I'm not too sure.
The Ukrainian has already secured victories over Anthony Joshua, Daniel Dubois, and Tyson Fury, with the Fury triumph making him the first undisputed heavyweight champion since Lewis accomplished the feat. Adding Wilder to that list would represent another significant name from this era, regardless of whether the American is past his peak. For Usyk, who is 38 years old and has indicated he wants to fight only 2 or 3 more times before retiring, this appears to be about legacy building and market expansion, rather than seeking the toughest possible challenge. The potential bout represents a clash between the division's most complete modern heavyweight and a fading but still dangerous puncher. It pits control and technical mastery against chaos and explosive power. While many experts favor Usyk heavily, and some like Lewis predict a dominant performance, the consensus acknowledges that Wilder's right hand always offers a puncher's chance. History suggests Usyk has already solved far more difficult problems than what Wilder presents, having outboxed and outlasted the much larger Fury twice, and shown genuine stopping power against Dubois.
Alexander Usyk. Alexander, you're watching another pound-for-pound fighter in Inoue. Have you been impressed with his performance so far?
Yeah, I like this is show Nagatani fight great with Mexican guy Inoue. I happy.
What do you think Inoue needs to do to get the stoppage?
I not think about this. I just watch fight. Maybe Inoue next fight going up. Maybe, I don't know. I think it's normal. Because you know, Inoue have very fast. Yeah, it's a competition. You know, it's a very strong guy.
Very quickly, before you go, what happens next with you, Usyk?
Next year.
Wilder?
I won't fight with Baron's Bomber. Yes, Wilder.
Thank you very much.
As negotiations continue and the heavyweight landscape evolves, this fight represents different things to different people. For Usyk, it's a chance to add another prestigious name while expanding his American profile. For Wilder, it's potentially his last opportunity to reclaim championship glory and prove the doubters wrong. For the division, it's a matchup that will either confirm what many suspect about Wilder's decline or provide a shocking reminder that power is the last thing to go.